with the disappearance of Lisa. She's a mother who is in a high state of trauma, who trembles every day.
The only thing I can think of is, you know, maybe somebody wanted a baby and she... I hope that's what it is.
Where is the baby?
If her recollection sometimes isn't what it should be regarding certain times of events, I don't think we could really be too harsh on that.
I'm always concerned when someone comes into the home and takes the baby while one of the parents or caregivers are there.
She's everything. She's our little girl. She's completed her family. Our 2 other boys are waiting for her. Please, just drop her off anywhere. We don't care. Just somewhere safe where she can come home, please.
I'd like to find out how much of that big honking box of wine the mom bought was recovered. Was she out cold?
Just keep praying. We feel it. Just keep praying. Please, please, please keep praying.
The truth is going to come out. I know it will. Eventually. It always does.
Tonight, could there be a break in the baby Lisa case? As cops say, tipsters might have spotted the missing 11-month-old. Is there now a war brewing between the cops and baby Lisa's family? Sure looks that way to me. We heard baby Lisa's mother, Deborah Bradley, had not 1 or 2 drinks or 3 or 4, but more than 5 glasses of wine, and she's also on anti-anxiety meds, we are learning now. She admits that she drank to the point of possibly blacking out and doesn't remember key events the night her child went missing.
Were you drinking that night?
Yes.
How much?
Enough to be drunk.
So you were drunk?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are going to say, Deborah, you were drunk that night. Is there any chance you did anything that hurt your daughter that you're just not telling us?
No. And if I thought there was a chance, I'd say it. No. I don't think that alcohol changes a person enough to do something like that.
Oh, really? Well, if you don't remember what happened, I don't know that you can say that for a fact. No. The family's new high-powered lawyer is trying to take the scrutiny off of Deborah's binge drinking and changing timeline and put it squarely on the local cops. Listen to this.
People during the investigation, members of law enforcement, obviously, some members, not all, and certainly I'm not going to start identifying which members or which group, but I think in the questioning of these 2 people have been a little insensitive. Do your investigation and start right here. Start right here. It's absolutely normal for them to start right here. But don't come to a conclusion before you have evidence and then try and look for the evidence.
Okay, Joe Tacopina, you're a great lawyer, but I got this to tell you. Cops say they have not been able to conduct an actual interview with your clients, Lisa's mom or the missing child's dad, since October 8th. They said, quote, clearly the parents' level of cooperation has not been what it needs to be to find this child. Should they change their minds, our door is always open. So, that puts everything in a different light. What do you think? Give me a call. 1-877-JVM says. 1-877-586-7297. I am taking your calls right now. Straight out to Jim Spellman, who is live in Kansas City right outside baby Lisa's home. What have you heard, first of all, about this possible baby sighting? How far away? What are the details, Jim?
That's Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas, 120 miles to the west of here, right along the main highway. The reports are that 2 women in their 20s showed up with a baby matching the description. When they started getting attention because of that, they left without eating their food in a black automobile. They don't have a license plate number. Police right now are tracking that, running down those leads, Jane.
Deborah's new lawyer came out firing. He says the claims that baby Lisa's mom changed her story just are not true. Listen to this from ABC's GMA.
There's not a 4-hour gap.
Well, why not?
Well, there's not, because what she said was she put the baby to bed at around 6:30. At one point during one of the 13 hours of interview, she had said she believes she checked on her at 10:30. It's not an inconsistency. It may be a recollection refreshed at some later point, but it's certainly not material to whether or not she had anything to do with the disappearance of her baby.
Listen, I'm not saying the mother's a suspect. The cops are not saying the mother's a suspect, but give me a break. No inconsistencies. She first said she put little Lisa to bed at 10:30. Now she's saying it was 6:40. That is a huge difference. Mike Brooks, HLN law enforcement analyst. I mean, a huge difference. Why are they so defensive at this stage?
Oh, I don't know. Who'd you see there? Joe Tacopina and Bill Stanton, the guy who just left there. But where they go right from there, right back up New York on prime time in the morning. You know, look, they can say what they want to say, but I can tell you, as a former investigator, Jane, that's a big inconsistency. And then also, they're not making the stepchildren, they're not making them available, the stepbrothers, because apparently she says that they heard something too. Okay, what did they hear? Was it loud? Was it soft? Were the lights on? Were the lights off? When you have that much of a gap, and, you know, in that all-important timeline of what really happened, law enforcement needs to talk to the Irwins again, and they need to talk to the children some more. And, you know, he says they're being insensitive. Well, you know what? Cooperate with police.
I don't get this. The mother is hysterical, crying. She says, I've got to look at this precious baby. Look at this gorgeous, beautiful, innocent, helpless child. Emphasis, helpless. Okay, now we're hearing that Deborah hasn't talked to cops since October 8th and basically stopped the questioning on October 8th. We're also hearing that the cops have had trouble now reaching the parents, and that the parents would not talk to cops, saying, no, we've got to do a TV interview. Okay, check this out. We've got to do a TV interview. We can't talk to you. Let's take a look at the mother.
She's everything. She's our little girl. She's completed her family, and she means everything to my boys, and we need her home. I can't be without her.
I want to bring in famous O.J. Simpson prosecutor Marcia Clark to talk about this case, and she is here. I'm very delighted to have her here on set with me here at the LA Times building with the criminal courthouse in the backdrop. I got to ask you, this mother, okay, she's crying hysterically, and she seems very, very distraught, and yet cops are saying she won't answer any questions. They cannot question her about the inconsistencies.
Well, they did question her. I mean, I'm going to play devil's advocate just a little bit, balance this picture. She did talk to them quite a lot. Now, they started out by being accusatory with her, which is really standard. When a baby disappears, you look to the parents, you look to the closest people. She was the one last alone with the baby. On the other hand, she admits that she was drinking, that she had a lot to drink, that she passed out, that when her husband came home, she was still asleep at 4 o'clock in the morning. The front window was open, the front door was open, the lights were on. All of this was very strange. And so when she tells the cops, you know, I last saw the baby at 10:30, I can see where Joe Tacopina, her lawyer, is saying, really, it wasn't so much an inconsistency as she was confused and upset. She's being accused of doing something horrible to her child. And what I think she really did mean, I put the baby down at 6:30, but I checked again at 10:30, and it was all well. But after that point, she passed out. The fact that she's as honest as she is about drinking as much as she did, no one could have checked that out. She could just as easily have said, I was asleep.
Yeah, but I don't know that we found that off the bat. I don't know that we found that out off the bat. I think you make some good points, but this surveillance video of her buying a box of wine, and I've said I never even knew wine came in boxes until just as this case has occurred, because that's a lot of wine. A box of wine, okay? That's when we started hearing about the wine. Before that, it wasn't. She was talking to media. She didn't say, hey, I was drunk immediately. She was talking about being distraught over her child missing. Then we see that video. Then we learn about that. I have to point out, People magazine interviewed Deborah. Okay, and there's some very, very shocking quotes. She has no recollection of whether or not she checked on her daughter or turned off the house lights before she went to bed. When asked if alcohol caused her to black out, she says it's a possibility. I had several glasses of wine, more than 5 probably. But here's what upsets me. When asked if she saw anything wrong with drinking while her infant was in her care, she said she was sleeping. I don't have a problem with me having adult time. Hello? We've got a problem now because your child is missing and you can't remember the details of how she went missing, when she went missing, because you don't recall because you were drinking. I'm not saying you had anything to do with it, but I do feel that alcohol is an issue in this case. And on the other side of the break, and I'm a recovering alcoholic with 16 years of sobriety, on the other side of this break, we're going to talk to an expert in addictionology to clarify what issue, if any, what role, if any, alcohol played in this horrific saga. We also have calls lining up. We're going to take them right on the other side. More on baby Lisa missing, the mystery. 1-877-JVM says, could it be that two women are on the run with this adorable child? That's one sighting.
Every half an hour you go, she had nothing to do with this. And then on the other hand, you're going, well, you know, things aren't adding up. And so you want to believe that there's not a crazy person out there who's taking babies. But you also want to believe the mom, too.